I'm Annie.
And I'm Susan.
And this is Two Friends, One Chat. Oh, I'm excited for this one.
Oh, it's gonna be... I mean, I love all of our... I have to say that re-listening to...
Oh, yeah.
Wow, we're getting better.
Yeah.
Is what I want to say. If
Yeah.
you've only listened to episode 1, stick with it, okay? We're gonna get better, I promise.
I am super excited for this episode because this is the first time it's almost a theoretical episode. This is a continuation of our last episode was fight, flight, freeze, people please, or control question mark.
That's right.
And we've done some contemplation in a breakout session where we did some brainstorming.
Yes.
If you remember, if you listen to the episode at the end, we were like, there's got to be something better, right?
A better word or phrase to be used for that control piece that is Annie's theory, but is 100% correct in my book.
Can you say the phrase, and we'll title the episode this, but okay. Susan, in our breakout session, she was like, you know where my heart goes is it goes here.
Yeah.
And it kind of blew my mind.
Okay.
So
are you ready?
Yeah.
So, and I will be honest, my heart was going there while we were recording the last episode. I just was afraid to say it. But because Annie's amazing, I said it, and she's like, no, like, that's good.
It's really
anyway,
good.
So, fight, flight, freeze, or is it the other way around?
No, that's perfect.
People please, or get on your knees.
Oh my gosh.
Bam.
I want listeners to just sit with that. So, we discussed earlier in the previous episode this fifth category where when you are in your lizard brain, you move to control.
Right, that's some people's instinctual survival instinct is to... Control. I got to control the situation.
Mm-hmm. We know this category is domestic abusers. Mm-hmm. Usually there is interpartner, interrelational violence. Usually this is a child or a sexual partner.
Right.
And I think if you can kind of talk about your description a little bit when you were reflecting it onto me, you were like, well, I didn't want people to get confused and think it was sexual.
Right. It
was more like I have a gun, get on your knees. But I think I like the double entendre of it because interpersonal violence usually infers a sexual relationship.
Sure.
And so I think that there is... I don't know. I think there are pieces of it. One, it rhymes, which makes it super awesome.
That's number one on the list, is we needed it to rhyme. But you're right. I didn't want it to go straight into this, she's making some sort of, sexual joke. Because in my head, control is you want people lower than you, right? Yes. You need to be higher and controlling. So getting on your knees, to me, yes, it can be... funny sexual, but really not, right? It can be that controlling sexual piece, but as well as you just need to be lower than me.
Yes.
So get down so I can control this situation.
Yeah. And that is how I survive.
Yeah.
And you know what I would say? That there are, I think domestic abuse is a really, on a gradation scale, it's really far into.
Yeah.
This is it. Because you could have the need to control your situation and to survive and to keep others around you safe and not do that. It can be a strength, right? You can do that and not wound your partners.
Yes.
So I want everyone to hear that get on your knees doesn't necessarily mean you're a terrible person. In fact, it's just like everything else on the scale.
On that spectrum.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I would like to imply that as well because I think a lot of people... when they're in lizard brain, control is their survival mechanism, and they do it without hurting people.
Right.
Physically. Sometimes they could hurt people mentally while in this state.
100%.
Yeah.
I think there probably is so much more non-physical controlling that we don't see or know about in these situations, right? Because we only hear or see about things once they're weighed.
Yes.
On the other end, and it's awful and
things
horrible.
have gone ungood.
Right. But I think it's so much more non-physical control.
I agree.
Yeah.
Just like people pleasing can present so positive.
Yes.
Even though like you're like, and these might be people, in fact, I would even go to say this in both, people please and get on your knees. Mm-hmm. Both can be super high functioning people.
Yes. Consistently
in traumatic brain response.
Yes.
And society almost kind of values those until it goes too far, right?
Right. Because I think what you're saying is because we don't necessarily recognize as survival mode in people.
Exactly.
So society's like, wow, this guy's taking charge and in control and doing
I'm going to follow him. Yeah.
She's rocking it. And then,
she does everything for us. Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I didn't mean to gender those because
I think that's fair. I think those are two, I think that's what society expects of both male identified and female identified. So I think, I think that's okay to say.
Okay. We as society can see it as like, whoa.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that, I know that's true of me, right? People love me because I'm very kind and caring and make everyone happy and do everything. And I think that's a core piece of my personality.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of it is based or has been based in survival mode for me.
And I would almost say, I've just thought of this, in like social survival mode.
Yeah, are, yes, because we have to go back to this is not someone running at you with a knife, right? We have to remember it's just high stress situation. Social survival.
I would say that they are one and the same. I'm just categorizing because again, remember,
I love this.
Yeah.
Yeah, please. Yes, I love this. I love this.
If 80% of our brain and our existence is driving towards relationship, your social piece is survival. We know that. So, like, I think that both people please and get on your knees are have a strong component. And I think the more we talk about this, the more we're, like, going to expand our ideas.
Yeah.
But this is, again, we're in the preliminary stages, so welcome.
Yeah.
For our theoretical discussion.
This is our hypothesis.
Ooh. Wait, Susan, would you just say this is science? I just want you to be that for Halloween.
Okay.
In fact, I already know the gloves you can wear for it. They're on Amazon. I will show you them. They're fucking amazing.
Okay.
Please go as a scientist.
Okay. If I go anywhere for Halloween,
you're coming to the party. My friend who I've known since I was like 2 years old, he and his wife have like this ridiculous house party with like a bunch of like, we're all 40 now, right? Like, so a bunch of 40-year-olds, and it's super fun. Like, it's very low key. Like, I won't say low key, right? It's 40-year-old rowdy.
Okay, I'll take that.
Yeah.
I will take that all day, every day.
And they have basically like, so I've reconnected with him. Again, I've known him like forever through all my stages of life, but maybe for like the past, actually only like probably 7 years, we haven't really talked or anything.
Yeah.
Oh, no, like 10 years. And then we like reconnected, and man, he's just the best. And his wife is a boss. I really enjoy her. But they were like, we really love Halloween. And I was like, cool. Let's combine parties.
Yeah,
because,
let's do this.
And I mean, I technically didn't ask. I was like, cool. Can I asked this part. Can I invite like 7 people to your party? Because that's about how many we have over, and I love Halloween.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah. So yes, there is a party, and you have to come. And the scientist piece.
Okay.
I think that will be the best costume.
We shall see.
I'm very excited. Do you guys want to know what Susan usually goes as? And it is pretty funny.
What?
A Target employee.
Oh! I forgot I did that.
You've done it a couple of times.
I've done it a lot.
She wears a red shirt and she has a name tag and she like folds stuff.
It's a legit name tag too. I worked at Target for a little bit.
It's actually really funny.
I know. I think it is.
I think
it doesn't go over with all the crowds, but most of the time it goes over.
Only if they're stupid.
Yeah.
Okay. We digress.
Oh, that's what we do.
But you were right. This is science, right? This is a theory that we have based on clinical licensure, observing people, looking into literature.
Yeah.
Which again, I really love this because I had this idea of seeing it because I work with a lot of perpetrators.
Exactly.
Right? And I had this conceptual idea prior to understanding fawn. And I have a friend, and she's amazing. We'll have her on the show sometime. And she has a really beautiful mental health journey. We bounce ideas. She's not a clinical, this is more just her personal journey. Right. And so she was like, hey, in my pursuit of personal journey, I read this book and it talks about this fourth possible category, which is the fawn category, which we
or the people please.
People please, yeah.
Which we call it.
Yeah, exactly. And interchangeable, you can call them the same thing. It's the same idea.
Yeah.
But once she said that and I looked into it a little bit, I was like, oh my gosh, my concept is basically the inverse of this fawn idea from, again, I'm observing all these people when they're in a traumatic brain state, they have to control their environment.
Right.
And so that's kind of where this came from. But fight, flight, freeze, people please, get on your knees.
It's serious. I don't love it, but it's serious. I mean, I love it.
I love it.
And I hate it.
Yes. You know what? I think that brings up a super good point. Because, so here's what we know about domestic abuse.
Okay.
It's extraordinarily prevalent. One.
I don't think... Yes, we know that, but I don't think we know that. Like, I don't think we really accept that.
No, I think
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like...
I think you're 100% right. Because I think society wants to ignore it because it is really... It's on the most intimate level. It's the easiest. It's the easiest thing to victim shame. Because what does everyone say? Why would you stay in a relationship like that?
Oh, I hate when people say that. I don't think they recognize what they're saying when they say that. Most of the time, it's like, you shut your mouth. You have no idea.
Yeah.
You have no idea.
Exactly, you have no idea.
It makes me so mad. It makes me so... I volunteered at a women's shelter in college. Yeah. So it's just bringing all of that back to me. Yeah. Don't say that. Don't say that to people. Okay?
Yeah.
If you take anything else out of this, don't say that to people.
Let's dissect that because...
Okay. Oh, it's making me mad.
I think a lot of this episode is we're just going to talk about what we know about this category and maybe see if we can give people some tools so that isn't their go-to.
Okay. I like this. Okay.
So my first thought is kind of like this exploring what do we know? We know it's prevalent.
Yes.
We know that the most effective age category and gender category of interpersonal violence is female 16 to 24.
Okay.
Why is that number so significant? Our brains are not fully developed until 25. So what we're finding is... Right, weird. This is... Did you hear the Wolfie shake? Oh, Wolfie's joining us. He's you guys, my dogs are the love of my life. And I love him. And there are no cuddles like the cuddles from a pit bull. Okay. I digress.
Ain't no cuddles like a pit bull cuddle.
And it's good to digress in this one a little bit because this is a really heavy topic. So people that struggle with control, if your survival mechanism is control, wouldn't you look to someone whose brain wasn't fully developed? Not even on purpose. And again, I'm explaining to you societal patterns that we have so often, and we're not wrong. So two ideas coexisting. Yeah. That there is a victim in this and there is a perpetrator. So I want to 100% label that. Mm-hmm. But there are also is a lack of understanding as to how that happens, and it again does not make any interpersonal violence okay.
No.
So I want but this is very important, right? We're writing that line between understanding the issue and victim blaming.
Right.
No victim blaming here. No. What happened to you was wrong.
Yes.
Statistically, it's very likely when this happened to you, your brain wasn't even fully developed. And this is what's nuts. I love brain science. And I'm sorry, I'm totally ranting.
She's nerding out, and I love it. And it's beautiful.
You guys, I love to nerd out.
I love this.
The other thing about this age category between 16 and 24, where you're the most likely to experience, outrageous interpersonal violence.
Right.
Your developmental stage of life that you are in is driving you to basically differentiate from your family model and build your social circle, right?
Yes.
So it makes sense that you are so likely to be, you're the most vulnerable at this time.
Right.
So because that's where your body is driving you. And your brain's also not fully developed.
Right.
So it can't differentiate between, like, what's healthy, what's not healthy. This person loves me.
Right.
But they also struggle with control, and I think one of the...
Because they love me.
Oh.
Yeah.
And that's really what I wanted to address from last... This is really, really important, you guys. Probably the most important thing that I will ever say is kind of the concept you just talked about, where it's like, what I don't want anyone to get from this podcast is they're going to stay longer in a relationship with someone struggling with power and control because now they understand where their struggle comes from.
Ooh.
Don't do that.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh. What?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like super important that you hear me. If you are in a relationship with a partner, male or female, doesn't matter. Also, same-sex couples, this applies to you.
Yes.
There is interpersonal violence can happen in any relationship.
Any relationship.
And
not even romantic. Any relationship.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Any relationship.
Any parental, friendship.
Yes, all of it.
Boss, employee, all of these things.
Siblings. At work.
Oh, siblings.
I mean,
good.
all of it.
Yes.
All of it. Yes.
And it is really imperative that you hear, if you are in love with someone who struggles with power and control and is not actively in treatment and they are hurting you, understanding where it comes from should not keep you in the relationship. I'm going to say that one more time.
Yes.
Understanding where it comes from cannot keep you in relationship with this person, because they won't get better.
And I think that is the important piece. Yeah. You staying does not fix that, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
That is work they have to do on their own when they're ready. So while Annie and I both are saying, right, these are people.
Yeah.
They deserve love and understanding and respect, right? But that does not mean that you need to stay.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what I would say about that statement is I would change the but to an and.
And I am working so hard at not saying but, and it comes
okay,
out.
but sometimes, sometimes it's good. But I think in this situation, and right, like two parallel things exist, and we'll talk about that so many times about like a parallel planning process, parallel thoughts being true at the same time, because we live in a super binary society, right? Yeah. Like, we know gender's on a spectrum, but we have two genders.
Right,
you got two options.
Yeah.
And I'm making that a joke. Societally, we have two options, but we know there's a tremendous more that exists. And the same is true for everything else, right? Like, politically, one way or the other way, no middle ground. And that's not human development.
Right. It's just not. It's not.
It's just not the reality. We also know that's like super bad for your brain.
Yes.
Okay, so let's focus more on what we know about domestic abuse, right?
Okay.
So we know
Annie knows a lot. That's why I'm going to let her take this one.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Yeah, you guys, I spend a lot of time here.
It's kind of like definitely in her wheelhouse for sure. So.
And what I'm super passionate about, right? Yeah. Okay, so we know. If you're a female or a child, you're more likely to be affected.
Sure.
If you're a male, you're more likely to struggle with the power and control. That does not mean females do not either. They definitely do. Here's some interesting things we know about the genderization of domestic violence. Your male partner is more likely to inflict physical violence. If that's not effective, their next go-to is usually like suicide ideation, relying on your response. So it is super important that we label that. So, oh man, you want to talk?
No, I things are coming together in my brain, and it's just kind of No, I don't want to talk. Please keep going.
Okay, I want to give some like good resources for people around that, because this is a super, super common way for people to control relationships, and I need our listeners to hear that that one, you're not alone. Two, that's a very hard thing to face from someone you love. And three, you doing okay?
Mm-hmm.
You doing okay?
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk practicality when that happens.
Okay.
Can you hold up a finger for me? Because we have to address that before we end. Because I want to talk a little bit about the genderization.
Okay.
And if you are a male in a domestically abusive relationship, it's more likely because females, again, we've talked about if you're sex assigned at birth female, you have,
right.
you know.
Right. Not as strong.
Yeah. Physicality.
Yeah, and that it just is.
It is what it is, yeah.
You know.
And trust me, it's like my least favorite thing. But what I will say is, women and female identified are more likely to jump straight first to suicide ideation and blame the partner for it. So
interesting.
that's one of the elements of control.
Okay,
so
that's their first go-to. Okay.
Statistically speaking.
Of course. That's all we can
Yeah.
really speak to statistically and then personal experience. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I have my finger up. I want to flag something really fast. If you are in a relationship and this is happening to you, I want you to know that you can call 911 and should and ask for a well check on your partner and explain to them what's happening. This is going to do two things. One, you are not responsible for the choices that your significant other makes. So,
yes.
Say
that again. Really, for me. Say that again.
You are not responsible for the choices that your partner makes.
Thank you.
I mean, this is like super important because I think a lot of us bear weight because of this idea, especially. And I'm speaking just from my experience because I was born sex assigned at birth female. I identify as female. And so a lot of the female societal things have been pretty heavily ingrained in me. Mm-hmm. And it is that we are responsible for the happiness of our partners. Mm-hmm. And I think that is a hook in the Achilles heel of like female identified people societally. And I'm just speaking from experience. I'm sure male identified would have different thoughts.
Of course.
Okay. Anyway, I digress. So call 911. This isn't call non-emergency. Treat this as though it is an emergency because their mental state is an emergency. You call 911. You say this is where they are. They are threatening self-harm or harm to themselves and others. That does two things. It gets a police report. And they'll do a welfare check. They will go out there. I've had to do this. It sucks. Sucks so hard.
Yeah.
But it also, you are not emergent response. That's also another thing that's super important to understand. Susan's face right now is the greatest thing I've ever seen because Susan is the most loving and caring partner I've ever met. And I know that she's gone above and beyond for partners that needed her. And hear me out, my friends. You are not emergent response for your partner.
Yes.
Come?
Mm-hmm.
Who is emergent response for your partner?
Emergency responders.
911.
Yeah, well, yes, that's 911.
This isn't even a 211. 211 is for if you are personally struggling, you know, and you can use 211, but I'm
like supports and resources.
Love that.
That's really what that's for.
But 911 is if you have someone saying, if you leave me, I'm going to kill myself, and you need to get out of that relationship, first of all, even if you're not contemplating it, you do need to. The other thing is that's not a 211. That is a 911. You make that police report. You ask for a welfare check, and then you can call 211 for yourself. But 911 first.
Okay.
That is my clinical professional advice because if you're in a relationship where you are the emergent response, I'm telling you right now that's not healthy, and you won't get your needs met. I think that's a fair thing.
It's 100% fair.
It's kind of bold.
It's true.
It's bold. It's a blanket statement, and I'm cautious about blanket statements.
It's 100% true, and it obviously is bringing up a lot of feelings from my past relationship because I would never have said I was in an abusive relationship ever. I never would have classified that relationship as that ever. And I knew it wasn't healthy. I knew it wasn't good.
Yeah.
You know, I got to all of that. I would have never in a million years called it abusive. And then you just like literally, it's like you knew what happened multiple times.
Yeah.
Like, and I think you knew some of what happened, but you're literally, like, sharing exactly what happened to me. And it's just kind of, like, blowing my mind that, oh, my goodness, I guess maybe I was.
Oh.
I know, but we have to remember when we're in it,
it's
right?
Different. Yeah.
It's different.
And here's the thing is your experience is so common that's why a piece of this podcast, I just want you to hear me and understand, like, because again, we should be teaching pro-social identities in high school. We're not. There's a beginning. Some schools are cusping, like, consent and stuff like that, and that is beautiful.
Wonderful, beautiful.
And there was a really good PSA commercials that came on a little bit about, like, obsessive texting and what control looks like.
Oh, yes. I remember those.
We need to build and expand on that because
it's happening that young.
It's absolutely happening.
So we need to talk about it.
Yes. And again, we as a society, I think we're so quick to be like, that's just a bad kid doing that. Mm-hmm. It isn't. It is a kid who, like, in their mind, their survival is relationship.
Yeah.
And they probably have wildly insecure, attachment.
Yeah.
And so their first girlfriend, they need to hear from her every 5 minutes because they think that she doesn't really love them, or something, like, I'm just...
Because they don't know yet. They don't know yet either.
Yes, exactly.
How to label what's going on, and that this thing that I'm feeling and thinking and doing maybe isn't good.
Correct.
Because we don't talk about it.
We never talk. And that's why, I know we're writing the line between victim blaming here, and we cannot do that.
No.
But we do need to understand both sides and how intervention young can help you understand what your trauma brain is doing to those you're in relationship with.
Well, and I mean, look at me. I grew up thinking he didn't hit me, right? Yeah. And I don't think that past relationship, I don't think he would have ever physically hit me. I was never physically afraid of him. So how could it be an abusive relationship? Because that's all we ever are told, right?
Yeah. It's
the hitting and the bruises, and are they hiding marks? Like, that's what we're told is an abusive relationship. Which it is, obviously.
Yeah.
But abuse is so much more than that.
Yeah.
I think, and I'm kind of mad at myself that I'm this old and this far in and just now realizing, holy shit, that was an abuse. I was in an abusive relationship. Like, that's blowing my mind. Right, feel your feels. Feel your feels, but
let me, now I'm going to take my clinician hat off. I'm putting my BFF hat. Okay. I don't ever want you to feel, and I know you will, and everyone should feel their feelings. But the best friend part of me is like, damn it, I wish I could help you not feel that, because you trusted and loved a human who took advantage of you. And oh man, you guys, I just watched this movie, and I'm going to do a terrible job because, one, I can't remember the name of it. But it's like...
But it was so good, and I loved it.
It was, because it was like a heist espionage movie.
Ooh.
But, like, all of the heisters and espionagers are these beautiful, badass ladies.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, my God.
I love it.
And one of the main themes is, like, one of them trusts a guy who turns out to be bad, and it's ruining everything, and he's really bad. And... the main character who has, like, basically brought all these ladies together because she thinks he's dead. He turns out he's alive and he's a naughty guy. He's the bad guy. Mm-hmm. And she's, like, basically telling them how sorry she is because she, like, brought them into this thinking it was one way. And one of the ladies, like, don't do that. She's actually a therapist. It's really great. She's like...
Oh, I love this.
Played by Penelope Cruz. I love her. And she's like, don't do that. Like... This is, you loved and trusted.
Yeah.
Like a bad guy.
Right.
This isn't you. Like,
right.
None of this.
Oh,
and she's like, it's not your fault. And she's like, all therapists say that. Like, it's like great. It's a great rapport, delightful dialogue, fun action, great ending. Yeah. It's kind of like, I loved it. So I will look up the name of the movie and put it on our Instagram.
Okay.
Totally worth a watch. It's not like the world's best movie, but I had a great... And the action scenes... Okay, this is what I loved about it the most. I'm sidewinding. The action scenes, like, when I watch an action scene with two dudes, I get really frustrated because it's just punching and fighting when, like, there is a lot more thinking that goes into a fight or a chase.
Yeah.
And they do everything that I would do. Like, there's a scene where she's running down the subway. She doesn't want the lady to be able to see her, so she's busting out all the subway lights as she's running down the subway turn.
Smart.
Which is what I would do.
Smart.
So there's, like, smart fight scene pieces like that. And so, which I really enjoy. Or, like, the bad lady is running away on a bike. And
not just how many times I can punch your face before you fall over.
Totally. And
which is what it feels like with dudes. They just punch. And kick. And
always.
Then punch.
And explode and punch.
Okay, how about we stop and we take a breath and
there's
we
a cliff.
The situation.
There's a cliff that they're hanging off of for a second, for sure. No, yes, and that's exactly it. Like, there's a scene where one of the ladies is on a motorcycle and she takes it, other lady on foot, and through a crowd on purpose so she can't get shot, right? So the crowd kind of closes. So the really cool other lady assesses the situation, and this is still Hollywood, so none of this could actually happen.
Right. Well, of course not.
But my heart really enjoys this, and she shoots down a large light fixture in front of the bike.
Yeah.
Instead of blankly shooting into a crowd. So stuff like that. I was like, I'm really vibing with this.
I love this.
But it also had a great message that I wish best friend Annie could help you understand is you were not wrong for loving and trusting someone that didn't hold you well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I totally get that. It's just one of these, like, whoa moments, which are beautiful. Yeah. They're hard, but they're beautiful, right? Because we learn and we grow from these.
Yeah.
I just would have never, ever.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked enough, and I knew that was not a healthy or good relationship.
You knew that.
But never would have labeled it abusive, but it 100% was.
Oh, yeah.
100% was.
Yeah. Yeah. He took advantage of the fact that you were a loving and caring person. And we use the term manipulation a lot in a negative way. And a lot of times it is negative, but manipulation is actually one of those things that's totally on a spectrum as well.
Oh, yes.
But he was so far into, like, he was into the abusive level of manipulation.
Right. Yes. Yeah. 100%. 100%.
Yeah. And I think that's why I reacted to him so strongly when I first met him. But yeah, realizations are, What's awesome?
Yeah. Oh, what is awesome, please?
Your current partner.
Oh.
10
yes.
to 10. 10 to 10. And look at you. You glow. I just love that. Oh man, you guys. Yeah, so.
Wow. Mind blown.
Yeah.
Experience. But good.
Good.
That's what we do. That's what we got to do, right? Yeah. We don't, because until we know and recognize these things, how would we ever change or do differently? So it's a good thing. No, if you're listening and you're in a similar situation, this is not your fault at all.
Yeah.
And if this is any help, this discussion to, like, springboard you into doing something different, whatever that looks like for you, because I'm not about to tell you how to do your journey.
Yeah.
But maybe, because sometimes it's just that reframing, right?
Yeah.
Rethinking differently about a situation that is enough to be like, oh, I don't like this.
Yeah. This
isn't actually working well.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to do something different.
Yeah, and I think women are really susceptible, and again, I'm just speaking from personal experience, because it's so ingrained in us to not be aware of our own needs.
Mm-hmm.
And so oftentimes we go instantly to supporting and caring for our partner.
Yeah.
Instead of evaluating, like, are my needs being met?
Right.
Do I have a voice in this relationship? Because, a relationship should work like two people. Both ways. And they're both pursuing mental health and what that looks like for them, and loving and supporting each other, and having other supports.
Yes.
I think we should definitely do, like, a series on what healthy relationships look like.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we will, but not in this episode. We're already like, this is a really good episode, FYI.
Yeah.
I'm vibing. I don't know.
Hard. I'm vibing hard on this one.
Oh my gosh. But I do want to encourage you. It is, first of all, I want to normalize. This is really common. A ton of partners experience this. So you are not
so you're
alone.
not alone.
Not alone. And call 911 and know that this is not your responsibility.
Thank you.
A need you cannot meet.
I needed to hear that. I wish I would have heard that then. Yeah. It's not. It's not my responsibility.
It can't be. No one person could do that.
Quote unquote save that person. That was not my job.
And what's interesting is I think so much of the relationship building up to that apexing point has to do with, and I want to validate this, it feels really fucking good to save someone.
Oh.
It is like the best feeling.
Yes.
It is also, I think, a synthetic best feeling.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's going to give you a savior complex and a God complex. And I'm sure pretty much anyone can identify a phase in their life where they can say, oh my gosh, that's totally, and I felt really good. And if you can't, I encourage you to kind of examine pieces of your life, because I just want to be clear, no person can save another person.
Ooh.
Now, there are situations physically where, you can physically pull someone out of a fire and all these things. And that's awesome. If you are a first responder, oh my gosh, hats off to you. And also, please mentally take care of yourself, because that is
I can't even
imagine.
Whole nother episode.
Oh my gosh.
We will get into that. That's a whole nother episode.
And in the future, we will interview first responders, like fire response.
I love that so much.
Yeah. And I think that will be a really powerful conversation and tons to think about. But as far as emotionally, you can't.
Yeah.
No one person, especially in a interpersonal relationship, can save another person.
Right.
Now, you can support your partner. I have experienced that. I've been able to support my partner. I have felt what it's like to have their support towards me. Goddamn game changing.
Yes.
Holy shit. Positive attachment is like, bam.
Yeah. You can also support from afar. Do you know what I mean?
I love that.
Like, you can...
Yes.
In your own way, still like love and support that person, but remove yourself from that situation.
Would you say a hashtag boundaries throwback?
What? Boundaries throwback.
You know where else that is? Is a hashtag social mapping.
Yes.
It's okay. You don't have to be everyone's internal. You can be a supportive friend.
Yeah.
You can, you can be any layers of support. So I love that.
Oof.
I love that. You can support and love from afar. And if you need to draw those boundaries, God damn it.
Draw
'em.
Get your Sharpie out.
Well,
let's maybe erasable pen. Boundaries can shift and move.
Okay, first of all,
Sharpie.
I love you.
Sharpie.
Get your Sharpie out. You draw that.
The old Susan sneaking back
in. She's screaming and wait, what if we did just like pencil? Pencil? Maybe just pencil? No.
I said erasable pen, so then you still technically see the line. You knew you drew it there, but then you moved it a little bit.
I can't even. I love you so much.
Fine, Sharpie.
Sharpie.
Ooh, what if we got free Sharpies? I love Sharpies so much.
I actually do too.
I love
them.
Shout out Sharpies!
Shout out Sharpies! The big pack they have with all the rainbow colors.
Stop.
And then when they release like the gold colored ones.
Oh, the metallics?
Woo!
Maybe I'd do better if I drew my boundaries in metallics.
Yeah, make them pretty. I mean, if you're going to do it, make it glam, That is very my personality. If I have to do something hard, and we've talked about this a little bit in perspective, no joke, I find any way to make it fun for myself.
I should have printed off your advanced directive in, like, fun colors.
Oh, we could have filled it out with multicolors.
Yes.
I will do that. I'm still actually formulating and trying to make the end of life plan like the most fun, most awesome thing I can.
I love this.
Hashtag throwback. I am working on it, and I did have to process a tremendous amount afterwards.
The fact that you did as much as you did, and even like went where we went, I'm like ridiculously proud of you. I don't care I do care if you never touch it again, but I also don't. Like, I'm just super proud.
I brought it back out.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying I'm so proud of you for the work you did.
I love you.
Even if you don't do more.
Yeah, that was a very vulnerable episode for me. Yeah. Death and dying are really, really hard for me.
Yeah.
And so I feel really good having like looked into and examined and
peek through that window.
That window, and it made it a lot better. One, it was great because you were present and you care and love for me, and we're helping normalize and like pausing with me when I was a absolute wreck, and no, MBD.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
And everybody has those things, like and so I just want to normalize if death and dying. Or a fear of needles are your thing. You are a friend of mine. We have a lot in common. So Twinsies. We could talk a while, but then we'd probably pass out if it's needles. So, oh my gosh, that's so awesome. Okay, I think we should wrap up this episode.
Okay.
Any thoughts or we have and we have only tapped the beginning of the iceberg for controlling relationships.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Healthy relationships. But I think those are the really big things I wanted to communicate. Like, you are not responsible for your partner's actions.
Right.
Please use emergent response. You are not emergent response. So important.
That is so important.
Yes.
It is so important. And not something I thought of before, but boy howdy, now.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Especially because the social workers were stretched so thin.
Right.
And it's tempting. Anyway, you are not access emergent response.
Yeah.
Examine those behaviors, and again, if you are starting to see and understand controlling behaviors in your partner, just because you do that doesn't mean you should be the intervention to change
No,
them.
you should not.
No.
In fact, you should not
You should not. You should not. Our educations actually say the exact opposite.
That realization should be for you.
Yes.
Not for them.
Yep. You are not their treatment plan.
That is yours to do with what you will.
Yep.
And we have ideas on what you should do, but again, everyone's journey is their own, so I'm never going to tell anyone what they have to do.
Absolutely.
But that realization is not for honestly, I don't even think you need to share that with them, okay? That's just your own little personal nugget of info.
Yep.
To stick in your pocket.
Yes.
To help you decide what you want to do next.
And
for you.
If I would put my 2 cents in.
Yeah. Always.
Just know your needs won't be met when you have a partner who is deep in the struggle of power and control.
Yeah. Because they can't.
They can't.
Not to make it okay. Or, again.
It's just
they can't do it.
Yep.
They are a sick individual.
Yep, who needs some treatment.
Needs a lot of help from professionals.
And they have to drive that.
And they have to drive it.
Yep.
Yes,
bam.
100%.
Nailed it.
Yes. Yeah.
I think those are the best things we could get across in this episode as we dissect this fight, flight, freeze.
People please.
Get on your knees.
Ah.
I'm so torn because part of me is like, and the other part of me is like, that's fucking cool that it rhymes.
Cool. It's super cool that it rhymes. It's a little edgy, which is a thing that kind of we do. We try to do. I am not edgy.
But you thought of it. You are edgy.
Every once in a while, things pop in my head that are edgy.
Not only, she's also super funny.
But when we dig into it, it's real. And it's a needed conversation to have.
Yep.
And it's things people need to think about.
Oh.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, I think this was not a light episode today.
No, you're welcome.
Woo! Well, I hope you take care of yourself after this one.
Yes, please.
Do something. Yeah, treat yourself. Do something nice for yourself.
Little bubble bath.
Oh, that sounds so nice.
Doesn't that sound nice? A bubble bath?
I've been taking a lot of Epsom salt bath soaks.
Ooh.
It feels so great.
Okay.
Which actually might lead us to a really fun next episode. I would like to explore. I've been doing a lot of research on the quote-unquote happy chemicals.
Oh.
It's like the happy things your body produces and how to up them. So I think that'd be I've been doing some research, and Harvard published some really cool stuff on that, and basically there are 4 identified happy chemicals. So I think we should dive into that. I think that'd be actually a great next episode.
Sure.
Because this one was not a light one.
No. This was on the heavier. This was like a heavy soak cycle, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Wash that stuff out.
Yeah,
now we're just gonna do a quick spin.
Yeah.
Just a quick rinse.
Because we had not only was dirty, we're we need to do the pre-rinse.
Yeah.
these are bulky items. That's a setting on my washer and dryer. So we click it up to bulky items.
Right.
Yeah. Soil level.
You can tell it's laundry
real
day.
heavy. Real heavy. Yeah.
Spin the shit out of that bitch.
Yeah.
Spin
hot and hot. Yeah. Hot and hot. Yeah.
Oh.
I actually have a disinfectant level. So it's like disinfectant and then a hot rinse. So you that's what we did.
So that tells me that washing machine did some work. That's why we just need a cool, quick rinse cycle.
Love it. That's what we're going to talk about next. So join us next week for a really easy, fun episode. Of course, it won't be too easy. It never is. This is clinical.
No,
but
this is what we do.
More focusing on how, not the bad things that happen, but how do we produce those positive hormones and chemicals that can help our body build resilience.
Love it.
I'm
in. Let's do this.
Oh my gosh. You guys have the best day. I enjoy your company so much. And Susan, working with you is a dream.
Well, it's amazing, but it does kind of feel like they're sitting here with us,
Doesn't
with
it?
a warm cup of tea or something, just
maybe an Irish coffee,
whatever you want to drink.
Hot cocoa.
But it's a quiet little cozy corner.
Yes.
And and they're just and they're
and hopefully an occasional giggle too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We're children.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it so much. And I love you, and I love them, and I love the dogs.
Oh.
You got this.
You got this.
You got this.
Yeah.
You can do it.
Yep. And you are not emergent response, and you're
not alone.
Yes.
And you're not 911.
And you are worthy of love and respect.
So much more worthy than you think you are.
Oh my gosh. I love that.
So much more.
That's what we should say at the end of episodes. You are so much more worthy of love and respect than you believe.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, on that note, cheers and have a wonderful evening, day, whatever you're doing.
Just, enjoy your time.
Vibe out. And we'll see you next week.
Okay, bye.
Bye.